just going to say a few words, and then we can open up the floor for questions later on. Please.
Yeah, thank you very much for having me here, for inviting me here. Especially to you, Dinesh. Without your invitation, I wouldn't be here to show my documentary. And also, big thank you to Professor Elizabeth J. Wood for the impressive team. And I think we saw many things that you were talking about it. About 2 years ago, I was sitting on the sandy floor of a tent in a refugee camp for Yazidi people in Iraq. I knew I had to do what I can do best and what I learned and what eventually would help my people the most. I had to make a documentary about the genocide of Yazidi people. I had to put my camera where it hurts the most, and I needed to speak to victims in order to tell the world their story. On that August night in that small tent, I found Nadia Murad.
In August 2014, Nadia was the only one who wanted to speak to me, who wanted to tell her story. Before meeting her, I was nervous, as I have never been before in my journalistic life, because I could not come up with the right questions. But when I finally met her, I saw a strong woman, and Nadia told me, I do not want to be a victim anymore. ISIS took everything away from me. I was enslaved, raped, 45 members of my family were killed. I have nothing to lose anymore, but you will never ever get my fear again. As we two were sitting there in Iraq, a few miles away from the front line, we would have never dreamed that we would be in New York City 2 years later. But last September we were there, when Nadia became UN Goodwill Ambassador. The contrast could not be any bigger. From back then, Nadia and my past crossed regularly. I helped her escape to Germany and start a new life, and together we are trying to give the Yazidi people a voice in the world. Nadia by telling her story and living through this unimaginable pain every single day, again to raise awareness. And I by showing my documentary, Hawar. But about my Hawar help NGO. Soon I realized that the documentary was not enough. I founded the non-profit organization Hawar. With our work, we try to raise awareness for the Yazidi people. We are doing humanitarian aid in Iraq, and we are helping to gather evidence for a trial at the International Crime Court, together with the lawyer Amal Clooney, who is helping the Yazidis in this case pro bono. In Germany, we are doing school talks about extremism and anti-Semitism. We also started an integration and sport charity format called Scoring Girls, which is managed by my sister Tuba. Tuba is a professional football player at the 1. FC Köln, and she's got to refugee camps, pick girls from all cultural and religious backgrounds, combine with German kids from less fortunate families, and train with them together. I noticed that here in the US, the role of women is a question as well in times like these. And the story of the Yazidis is also a story of women, of brave women. I want to finish with some remarks about my grandmother. Back in Turkey, where my family comes from, my grandmother always had a gun with her. She also slept with her gun. For me, she was my first example for a women rights advocate, because she used that weapon to enforce her rights. She went miles to the next police station to call for justice for the Yazidi people who were not held by the police when, for instance, their sheep were stolen. The story of the Yazidi people is actually a story about the power of women. Yazidi women go to fight ISIS and say, we don't want to be victims anymore. Yazidi women hold our families together in the last 2 years. Yazidi women with a strong agenda, as so often in human history. Right in this moment, only a few hours away by plane, Yazidi women are being sold and enslaved for a few dollars. They are raped. Children are still being slaughtered by ISIS. Back in September, when I was at the United Nations in New York, I met a survivor who could escape from ISIS. This wonderful lady broke my heart, because when I was looking in her eyes, I couldn't see any glimpse of life anymore. Her eyes were dead. I mean, she was living, yes, but she has no life inside her left. We hold each other and we cry together. And then she told me that she was proud of our work, that she will never forget what we did for the Yazidi people. I told her that I didn't do anything, but my job as a journalist, but she replied, no, Düzen, you just happened to be in the wrong place at the wrong time. You decided on your own risk your life and come to us. Come to help to document the fate of your own people and to give us a voice in the world at a time when no one was listening. We will never forget that. Why I'm telling you that? This meeting gives me so much energy and brings me through the darkest hours, when the way seems to be too long and the hurdles too high. My mother always quotes a Yazidi saying, "A lion is a lion, neither a man nor a woman." Today I say, we are all lions here. So let's work together. Thank you very much.
So it's open to questions.
So first off, thank you for your courage for even going into those regions during such tumultuous times to bring us these stories out on the list. I never really knew what TVs are, or more or less the plight that they suffered. Here in the United States, there are very legitimate and real concerns when it comes to refugees by many people. How do you feel we should go about balancing the very real concerns of bringing in refugees, both on a national security and financial standpoint, with the fact that this is a serious humanitarian crisis that needs to be addressed now? How would you, as someone who's experienced this, what would you suggest for the American people and foreign governments to do to enact this, while at the same time to ensure that we, as Americans, are safe?
Thank you so much for your important question. I hope and I think this is the reason why we are here. Because I think that you can't learn about a genocide by reading in books. I think you have to make it feelable, touchable, and you have to tell the story of the people. And we are talking about an ongoing genocide. Therefore, I hope that, for example, a documentary like that shows the people why human beings are fleeing. And the people which you saw there didn't want to leave their countries. They would like to stay there, but they are not safe. And I think what we have to understand in times like today is that terrorism is not just against minorities. Minorities would be the bad example, what happened to people when they get dehumanized because of another religion. So this is something which the Yazidi people have in common with the Jewish people, for example. And I think this kind of things don't come from heaven. They begin with pictures of enemies. And this, I think, why it's so actual also here in the US or in Germany. So the way how we talk right now about alternative facts and populism, for example, and generalism is very, very dangerous. And I think it's impossible, it must be possible to make the difference there. So my wish is that we will be able to come out from our comfort zone. And I cannot accept that everyone is going to a war, no. But I'm sure we can do more than we're doing today. And this stand up is something like a wake-up call, which I felt the last day. We came here last week, and the first thing when we came to the airport was, okay, did you come in? Because, the people thought, well, like, okay, they seem to be Muslim, and then it could be probably. But I have a visa, and we are German citizenships. And I didn't get in with Esther because I was in Iraq and Syria, so it was very sensible. But at that time, I was on the good side. But I cannot get very happy about that, because the friend which was invited me is a Muslim. So therefore, I think we have to make clear that that is not about a religion, it's about radicalization. And what I accept from my friends, for example, is to stand up together with us, to make the people understand, of course understand, that not every Muslim behaves like ISIS. But to do that, you have to be loud, not quiet. Yeah? So therefore, I think we have a lot of challenging times for all of us. And we have to make the people know what happened there. And it is not so far away from here. And we have similar problems right now. For example, the people who are fleeing. We have, in times like these, many discussions in Germany, because they have an election as well in this year. And for example, our chancellor let the refugees in, and everybody is happy with that. So therefore, it's a very similar fight. So what I'm trying to do is to say that minorities or secular Muslims are the part of solution, not of the problem. And we have to deal that together. And this is why we are today here, to sensibilize the young people and students for what is going on there and to give the right answers, maybe. And I know we are living in very challenging times, but I heard about sentence like the American dream is a legend and we haven't got democracy. I think I found democracy again. And we understand that you have to fight for it because it's very thin. And it's not like it's normal and comes from heaven. No, we have to fight for that every day. And maybe we have like times again that we have to stand up together to give the right answers. And therefore, this is, for example, a documentary about the genocide of the Yazidi people. But what I mean is to stand up for people who are in need. And it's not important where they are from. I think the most important thing that is that where they are standing and what they are thinking. Yeah. Sorry for my bad English.
No, you're fine.
This is my first public speech in the last days. I had a TV interview because of you 2 hours ago, and I'm trying my best, but I'm not a native speaker. But yeah, I will go on. Sorry again.
I have a question. I follow this for some time, and I am interested. And I spend a lot of time talking to various people, some very conservative, about this issue, and it all kind of boils down to questions about assimilation. How does that? What are your thoughts on that?
This is really a problem for our Yazidi people because we were not able to be part of education the last 1,000 years, because in the home countries education always meant at that time Islamization. And that was the reason why, for example, my father can't go to school, whether he was a very good student, but his father were scared and said, okay, when I let you go to Ankara, for example, and you will change the religion, I have no chance to bring you back. So this was in fact how we were behaved there as devil worshippers. So we haven't got any rights, and therefore we haven't got so much research since today. So to be honest, it's possible to be part of education in the last 50 years.
When my father, for example, came to Germany. But you understand me, right?
Yeah.
When my father came to Germany as a gas worker, for example, in the end of the 60s, the reason was that we raised and grow up at a place where we can be part of education. This was the reason why we have a very big transformation process when I'm thinking about the life of my grandparents and forefathers, for example, and our life today. There's a big difference, and it's important as minority. You grow up with this feeling that you have to tell something and you have to sensibilize the people for your situation. But assimilation is really a problem, a challenge, not just in the countries which we are from, also in the diaspora, because we haven't got a holy book, and it's an oral tradition, and many Yazidi don't know so much about their own religion. So it was like we grow up with no, you can't do that. Why? You are Yazidi. And why? You are Yazidi. So this is not enough. This is not enough. And I think this will be the big challenge also for students to make the research, to write about it, where they are from, what are they standing for. For example, I studied politics, I write about that, but I didn't make a PhD, I didn't go on. I worked after that as a journalist, and therefore we need other people as well. We are just 1 million in the world, and we can't do that by ourselves, of course not.
Is anyone working on documenting and preserving your tradition?
Yeah, but we still need more. So we have some universities, for example, in Germany, but as I understand, in the last few days there are many a lot of US and Canadian students who are very interested in this case, and we will try to find a way how to work together. For example, there were a lot of professors who were very touched by our case and said we have to do something. And I think this is a big challenge to organize ourselves in a way that we can follow on and to use this race awareness because we will never have it every day. I know now is the time, now or never, and this is the reason why we don't sleep. So we are just going on and working to spread the word.
Well, it amazes me that we turn ourselves inside out to rescue some tadpole in a lake someplace when there are people all over the world who don't look at figures. What's a tadpole?
Tadpole like a baby
Small
frog.
There are
fish,
small
baby
problems.
frogs.
Yeah, yeah.
There are little things that we care about, and sometimes we don't care, we don't see the big things.
Okay, yeah, you're right. And this is something which motivated me. So maybe this is something which I would love to say to you, that we don't, okay, this is sad, I know that, and it's an ongoing genocide, and we have to wake up. This is the one thing. But the other thing is, when I went back from Iraq and war, my whole life has changed. It was for me like a life-changing moment. And the big problems became little. Of course it became, because you saw what happened to people in other ways in other countries. So therefore I think this is a very important experience as well for all of us to understand that yeah, we have to give something back maybe other people. So this was the main reason for me when I went there. This was 1 week after James Foley was beheaded, and I knew that as a Yazidi, as a journalist, as a German citizenship, I will be perfect, yeah, for the ICE fighters. But I didn't think about that. So for me, for my personal life, fear is no option. And I think we need, again, this feeling that we have to talk about that fact that fear cannot be option, because this is the reason why the populists are so successful. And I think we have to be louder than there. And we have to talk about our problems, which we still, of course, have. Also cultural problems. I know that we have that. But it's important that we are talking about that and not the other ones.
Thank you for bringing this story to the United States and this document in particular. I have a quick question. I want to make sure I heard you right. Did you say that it was your grandmother that kept, she slept with a weapon?
Mm-hmm.
So there's a great deal in adversity that's good too. It helps us remember what's important in life. Tadpole issue. Adversity is not, I don't know what to watch on TV tonight. Okay? There's real adversity and there's some goodness to get out of it. It helps us remember what's important. But your comment about your grandmother connected with me. Because I had the privilege of living with the Peshmerga for a year, fighting with them on the battlefield. So they themselves were, of course, the object of great genocide. Hit chemical weapons 48 times at least. Halabja, 5,000 died in a day. And I came across this elderly lady one day near Halabja. She was wearing a mishki on her head. She was very distinguished. And she was from the Joff tribe. And this was a great Joff gathering. And I stopped, not because she was a lady, there were plenty of ladies there, because she was carrying an AK-47. I stopped and I went back to her and I said, "Ure, auntie, what's with the Kalashnikov?" And she said to me, "I was a Peshmerga for 13 years. I returned to my family, or returned to my village. My family was dead. This Kalashnikov is my best friend. I want to be buried with him." That sort of thing helps us all remember what's important in life. This is this type of story that more Americans need to hear.
Thank you so much for sharing this story with us. It also means women's right, because the fact is not to use the weapon, it's like to have it. And for minorities like we are, being part of militia is more important than ever, because the fact that we haven't got the right to use the weapons in Syria made it possible that so many Yazidis were killed when the Peshmerga ran away. And therefore, also a big question how to fight against ISIS means, of course, in a malicious way, not just, it has to always be political, social, cultural, I know that, but without weapons, we lost, and this is why that happened to our people, and it's still very difficult for the other people. Everyone is talking about what's going on in Mosul, but nobody is asking for the minorities or Christian or Yazidi people there. So I think the only voice that they have are we here, and in Europe, in the US, and in Canada, and maybe to sensibilize people here also that our women are strong, very strong, over hundreds of centuries. We have these role models, and as my father always said to us, we are 11 children at home, 7 sisters and 4 brothers, and my father's always saying my daughters are my sons. So this is like that we decide that we are smaller than our brothers, for example. And I think, yeah, this is very important also for parents, that they let us grow up in a strong way. And I think the fact that my father was okay with our strongness is that his mother was so strong. So this is clear.
Thank you so much for this film. I think one of the most powerful and difficult parts to watch is just the extreme trauma of the children. And also how simply moving to Germany doesn't solve those problems, just how sad Nadia is during the moment when you might expect that she would feel happy and relieved. She's just still so devastated. So I was wondering if you could say something about the people who have moved to Germany or to other places and how they're doing.
They are living in 2 worlds, to be honest. On the one hand, they are happy that they aren't there anymore, where is the fearless and ISIS and terrorism. On the other hand, they are always thinking about what's happening to their people. And many of them are depressive, are post-traumatic. For example, the mother of Yanin, the day when I was there, she pleased me and said, please give me tablets for my depression. And I was so sad about that, because I understand that she's very heavy. And what I try to do is to make her smile, to talk to her in her mother language, to say to her, you are not alone. And we belong to each other, and we have 100,000 Yazidi families here. So it's very important to stay in touch and don't behave with them like they have to stay there and no one is able to talk to them. This is why Nadia Murad, for me, made a little revolution, because she was talking about what happened to her. And to be honest, we came from a society which has sometimes oriented patriarchal way, where the people came to me and said, no, forbidden, you can't talk to Nadia. And I said, why? Yeah, because of what happened to her. But she's not guilty, please. No, but you can't show her face. So this was the discussions which we had at that moment, me as a Yazidi journalist and she as a Yazidi victim. And I'm so happy that we were like, okay, we will do that. And this was the reason why she 2 years later was invited by the United Nations. So I think to achieve something challenging means to risk something. Yeah? So, and therefore Nadia became a hero of our Yazidi religion of being great. So this is something which is very new, and also what our holiness made is not normal for a 4,000 years old religion. So the genocide is changing our religion in a good way, in a perspective way, and it's also a gender problem. What we found out with our NGO, for example, there are many Yazidis who don't accept us. It's like, okay, to be a victim is okay, to be usable, but you will be an actor? No, we don't accept that. For example, I'm talking about that, so I don't make any differences. Yeah? When the people, I think the Yazidi men have also come up to our century. Yeah? And we can't accept this way of thinking. For example, we had European Parliament, my documentary was shown there, and then the people who work there told me that they are not accepted, that we are there. And I said to them, you can drive the car, but I will sit in it, because we will make our decision as well how the Yazidi religion is going on, and especially our Yazidi women. Yeah? So this is a very challenging and very important time for us, and therefore we have a lot to do, and I'm very thankful that I met people like Nadia or Shirin, as I told you, because they are so brave in my eyes, because I don't lose anything. Nothing. What did I lose? Nothing. So therefore I think we have to talk about the people, and I think what we are doing is to translate. We're just a medium. To translate and to bring the stories of the people to you. And this is what we are also trying and making very successful in Germany, to bring the words together, because our work is coming from the base. And we still stay independent, which is not very easy for us. But it's honest. And this is, I think, the reason why the people are touched of that, what we are doing. And it's not very easy. It's not so easy as it seems to be. But audience like you today, an interview like 2 years ago, 2 hours ago, yeah, and, or an audience like the University of Victoria a few days ago, for us it's power. It's like I said to Tejan, when we come back from US, we will be
More stronger and powerful.
yeah, more stronger and powerful, I think. So we have both sides. We have a lot of people who are fighting against us. I've been still attacked by people who are fighting for ISIS. I get emails from them. So it was a very dangerous time for me. In Germany, I had speeches with security, polices, how to behave with that, but I said I don't need anything. I think important is that this life which we have here in this world, to do the best with it. And when then it's gone, it's gone. But till that time, we have to do the right things. So this is a vision which I get from my grandparents, and especially from my father. And it is very, it's a good feeling to see that there are many people who think in this way, and who would like to do something, for example.
So,
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.